the kid dies, the surgery can't go on. This is what the state of Syria is right now. And you don't even, like, this picture just speaks for itself. He's trying to save his children. This picture on the left is a hospital. And this is the same picture of that hospital. And in the news, they were showing them carrying the bodies, right? And they were carrying the bodies, and one guy was telling them, where are you carrying these bodies to? And then he's like, we're carrying them to the hospital. He's like, this is the hospital. This is the hospital. Where are you gonna go? Over 80 medical facilities have been completely destroyed, along with the doctors and the nurses. This is the state of Syria now. And we can't forget Omran, right? You know what's amazing about this picture? Not amazing. What really hurts in this picture isn't the fact that he doesn't have a reaction to what happened. It's the fact that he's looking right at you. And he's saying, what can you do to help? I'm sitting here a helpless child. What can you do? What are you going to do? What are we going to do? And this is what Omran is. He's just a helpless child asking, what are you going to do? You were given health. You were given wealth. You were given everything. And you know what? Forget about Omran for a second. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you, what did you do with what I gave you? What did you do with your health? What did you do with the wealth I gave you? You know, sometimes I think that these people that are in horrible situations, as crazy as it sounds, sometimes they have it better than us in one way. Is that they're sitting here, they're waiting for help, right? So what are they dealing with? They're just dealing with being patient in their situation, which is, of course, completely hard. I'm not trying to degrade that. But they're just waiting for help, right? Over here, in our situation, it's very scary because we have everything. And every day that goes by, we could have helped. And we're going to be asked about that. This is the scariest part, is that we're given everything and we are in a place to help him day in and day out, and we don't. And this is what Charity Week is all about. We have to remember these people all the time. And you know something? There's an ayah from the Quran that says, وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِيمَا آتَاكُمْ. Which means we raise you in ranks above another, so we'll test you in what we gave you. So if you for a second think that you're better than Omran, you're not. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we gave you this, and we didn't give them that to test you. And this ayah, I ran across it just a couple days before preparing for this presentation. I was like, I have to say this ayah. It's the last ayah of Surah Al-An'am. If you think of things like this, you would kill yourself and never complain of any work from any sort of charity work that you do, any sort of extracurricular that you don't get paid for. We don't get paid for any of this. Because you'll remember that, you know what? I'm going to be asked for this. So if you don't want to even care about him, you want to be selfish about yourself on the Day of Judgment, when you're going to be asked, you get scared. You get scared for yourself a little when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you about these things. Because it's a blessing that we have, but it's a blessing we're going to be tested for. The more blessings we have, the more we're going to be tested for. And that's what really scares me. And it should scare all of us. Like, what did I do? Did I help him? Did I help the children? Did I do enough? I'm going to be asked. And that's why I say that their situation, they're just being patient. And they're waiting for help. But we go day in, day out, and we might not help them. And this is what Charity Week is all about. To remember all these people. To remember that one ayah. I'll try and cut it short. Enough is enough. We need to come together as an ummah. And this is what Charity Week is all about. We need to unite. So forget about who's practicing and who's not practicing in your MSA, who's non-Muslim. We need to forget about our differences in opinion. We need to forget about who's, like we were talking about before, you know, the people that just follow culture and they're like, are so, you know, they have that mind of like mentality of overseas or mentality. It's okay. It's okay. It's hard to deal with. I can tell you that. We've lived overseas. It's hard to deal with. But we need to set aside our differences. And we need to come together for a greater purpose. If we do that, you know, one person can help 50,000. When we're together, we can help 10,000. It's all about unity. When somebody comes to you and gives you some attitude or whatever hardship you deal with at your MSAs, you guys know better, just remember, I'm not doing this for you. I'm not ever doing this for you. I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, through helping these children. That's what I'm doing it for. You can talk smack, you can do whatever you want. It's not gonna bother me. This is what we need to keep in mind, because this will move us forward. So, enough with prosthetic limbs. They need factories, like the first ever prosthetic limb center in Gaza. When we come together, we can do this. Enough with ambulances, they need hospitals. This is what Charity Week does. We build clinics so that it's in the long term. You're getting sadaqah jariyah when you guys leave the MSA, when you guys graduate, when you become parents and have children. This is sadaqah jariyah for you. This is a continuous charity without you even knowing sometimes. Enough helping a few hundred, we need to help millions. This is what we do when we come together. We don't fund an orphan, we don't sponsor an orphan, we build an orphanage. And we must, enough with helping one country, we can help many countries. So not just Syria, not just Gaza. What about Bangladesh? What about Rohingya? What about Chad? What about all these countries? We don't want one cause, we don't want one country. We want to help everyone. And the only way we can help everyone is if we come together. Because when we come together, we can raise more for these people. And we can build things that last, inshallah. And this is what Unity and Charity Week is all about. We organize together, we collect together, and we spend together. And this is why globally, all the money that's raised in every country is put into one pot. So like I said before, and we mentioned a lot, USA doesn't have their own project, Canada doesn't have their own project, we all have our projects. So all the money all over the world gets put together. And this is why we get to do these amazing projects. And unity, it just makes sense. When we come together, we're stronger. You can do whatever you want by yourself. It wouldn't be anything compared to when we do it when we're together. And this is what it's all about. And I just want you guys to remember that. To erase that mentality, this is for me, myself as well. Like sometimes when I think about these things, I have this mentality like, am I better than them? Because, they're dealing with all these hardships, oh, they must have done something wrong in their life or whatever. But no, not for a second let that cross your mind. Because we need to erase this mentality. When we have this mentality, we don't help. We don't care to help. But when we erase this mentality from our mind and realize that we are tested, it makes you feel accountable to yourself that you have to help. And this is what unity is all about. And I think this is the end of the presentation if you go on. Oh, this is just, you can go past this quickly. This is a mobile health clinic in Syria that helped not 1,000, not 2,000, but 10,000 orphans. This was a project in 2014. Look, they're wearing the same badges that we wear. This is one of our projects. And they even helped, this is like training for life support, as well as like minor surgeries and health issues, for them to help themselves. And these are some quotes from the beneficiaries. One thing, is if we don't do our part, maybe the dua of these people that we're helping will save us on the Day of Judgment. When they say things like this, like, I'm glad you're providing services and medication. If you were not here, I wouldn't know where to go. Maybe their dua is what's going to help us on the Day of Judgment. And this is an example of our project in 2014, the same one. And this is what I'll conclude with. Is crave the results so intensely that the work is irrelevant. This quote is amazing. If you keep this in your mind, you won't be bothered when you have to send the extra email or send the extra message. Trust me, like we all go through it. I'm not anywhere different than you are or Danielle. We all deal with this like, another email, oh my God, or another message, or they didn't reply, or I have to chase them down. If you crave the results so intensely, the work wouldn't matter to you. All this stuff that you're doing, whatever you go through, it doesn't matter because you know that I'm focused. I'm helping orphans and needy children. Remind myself, I work behind the screen, but I'm helping orphans and needy children. I'm working with people, but I'm helping orphans and needy children. And in the very end, like I said before, and I'll say again, وَرَفَعَ بَعْضُكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ. So that we raise you ranks above another, so that we may test you in what we give you. If you think of that ayah honestly, I don't know what else is scarier than that, because we're being tested. We're being tested with everything that we have. And that's all I have to say. If we keep that in our minds, I think inshallah, like, we won't ever be bugged down, and we'll continue this, so when you graduate, it'll continue on and you won't even know, and you wouldn't even have to plan anything anymore. It'll just be continuous charity for yourselves, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for attending.